Tyrese Maxey coming up big again in the end. He had a tough second quarter after having a brilliant first quarter with the way that he played. 17 points in the first quarter, 0 in the second, and really couldn't find his way. He came back in midway through the second quarter. Miami, though, certainly focused on keeping him away from all the good looks that he was getting in the first, not letting him get into any rhythm. But in the third and the fourth, again, he did enough in the third in general, but certainly in the fourth quarter once he got back into the game to try to help out. They were extending that defense like we've talked about plenty of times without Joel Embiid. They're trying to take the ball out of his hands. That's not a mystery. That's not a surprise by these other teams and their defense and what they're trying to do. We know what the game plan is, and he has it going, so they're certainly going to do all that they can to keep the basketball out of Maxey's hands. But with him doing that in the fourth quarter, making that extra pass, not forcing anything, he did take a couple of shots against the shot clock. Any space that he had, he was really taking that jumper or trying to get to the basket to get a floater or a runner or a layup in general. But the Miami Heat defense, again, was very, very good. Some length, some double teams, all of that. Others had to make plays. Big shot from Buddy Hield where he had a deep three-pointer where I'm like, yo, that was a bit much for Buddy Hield in that spot, but he drained it. He also had a runner that he needed off the glass to get a layup to go. And the same thing for Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre made a great pass. Kyle Lowry hit a big shot there at the end for the three-pointer to break a tie that they needed desperately. And that was a deep one for Kyle Lowry. Yep. They made some plays. The team made some plays around Tyrese Maxey in the end to make sure that they locked this one in, secured this one to, again, win their second consecutive game and go to 38-30. But as far as Maxey, though, I figured we would start with him too. Again, 17 right out of the chute, man. Yeah. And he did whatever he wanted against that defense. There was nothing that they could. When he got that first baseline jumper, I'm like, oh, okay. Seen it before. Over some long arms there of the defense, outstretched hands of that defensive player. He comes back a little bit later, does it again. I'm like, oh, he's in his bag tonight. Yep. He's going to have a good one here. And he did, starting off, getting things right out of the gate, Derek. 17 for Tyrese Maxey.
He had 11 within the first, 5 or 6 minutes. It was real quick. Look, he's really good at basketball. And it really is just astounding watching him develop the way he has. Like we've mentioned before, he's gotten so much better at just changing speeds, not everything being 100 miles an hour, using the sort of angles that he gets because of his shot to get into the paint. Using the English and touch around the rim is incredible. One of the best in the business at it. And the deep three, which he had going along tonight as well, and the passing. It was one of the more complete games that he has had during this stretch without Joel Embiid. And that's even with those, like you mentioned, those second quarter struggles where it looked like he was befuddled a little bit by what Miami was throwing at him. That is still, even with Jimmy Butler out of the lineup, that is still a really good defensive squad that Miami has. I think they are 8th or 9th in the league defensively on the season. They have been able to maintain some of that without Jimmy Butler. Where they really hurt without Jimmy is on the offensive side. And he found ways to be effective. It was look, and I think there's this, one of the stories of this game is how many other people stepped up with him, whether that was Kelly, both in the first half and down the stretch. Lowry was sensational down the stretch. Good. Yep. Even Mo Bamba, who we give a lot of grief for, and he certainly had his miscues there down the stretch, that turnover off the offensive rebound being key.
Yeah.
But he had some big moments too. This was a really good team win, but certainly none of that matters if Tyrese Maxey doesn't go supernova there in the first 5 or 6 minutes of the game and give them a chance to stay in this.
We all silly like the mayor.